And we're live.
Happy time zone, everyone. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good times to City of the Saint over here on Ulu Lord's channel. I am your storyteller for the evening, and where we last left off, though, quick reminder because I'm doing things out of order. Because I was laughing shortly before this. Vampire the Masquerade V5 is a mature storytelling system, therefore viewer discretion is advised. Where we last left off our, I would say coterie, but that requires a bit more cooperation. Our cavalrating crew of kindred all were invited to a soiree over at the Federal Reserve. A soiree organized by Prince Sarah themselves as an effort to gather the most prominent and powerful of the supernatural society in one place. The four of them were invited to bear witness to this event and for other reasons. Having all met by chance, by fate, by a 30% chance of having fun, they all gathered and witnessed the eventual chaos that ensued as a cloud of fog enveloped the building, screams of terror and panic, and all but a simple message: the prince is dead, and they think you did it. A quick return over to what I'm going to be calling the Giovanni Manor, Antionetta's Haven, revealed that the prince had merely faked their own death, and that the four of them were the only ones who knew that the prince was actually alive. The mission given to them by the prince is simple: discover who tried to murder them at the event, while remaining out of as much trouble as possible. So, why don't we go ahead and meet our coterie for this happy time zone and let people know where they can find you elsewhere.
Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Beck. I'll be playing the Polish Malkavian, Karolina Zborowska. You can find me on Twitter at Zeitpoltergeist, where I post a variety of things and mostly rant and rave about whatever I want. And you can find me on Twitch at Zeit_Poltergeist, where I also rant and rave about whatever I want, but playing games in the process. I also have a Vampire 5th edition Dark Ages game, Blood of Homebrew, which I'm running every Monday at 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Time. So if you're interested in watching more Kindred Chaos, all that kind of fun stuff, catch me there. Yeah, that's me.
I'm next. Hello everybody, my name is Serena, aka the Overlord. You can find me everywhere on all social medias, including most actively Twitter. I have a game every Wednesday, 7 p.m. PST. I'm sorry, it's taking me a while to say the words because new fangs. 7 p.m. PST, called Call of the Abyss. We also have a new game coming up. We're trying to get cast members in, so if you are interested in a Sabat game set in Philadelphia, check out my casting call. That's gonna be, what's the name? Cradle of Cain. Every Tuesday, 7 p.m. EST. Next up.
Well, I am next. Hello, everybody. I am Reese, the Northern Shaman, and you will find me on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram at Reese the Northern Shaman, or Northern Shaman on Twitch, and Reese the Northern Shaman on Instagram. And that is all I have to say. I pass the docket now.
And hello, my name is Sean. I play Kevin Morse, the True Blue Aussie Bruiser, in this particular chronicle. You can find me personally at Sean Means John, but I'm also a part of Baby Beard Media, a collective of Australian creative and actors and directors who predominantly run a podcast called Roll to Cast, ROLE, where we play a different tabletop role-playing game every season with original music and story. Case in point, if you go over to our Twitter at Baby Beard Media, in the spirit of getting people towards playing role-playing games and exploring different ones, we're currently running a competition where we are giving away a free PDF of Cyberpunk Red. If you interact with us on Twitter and just follow the instructions there, you can go on the charts because tabletops are awesome. There are so many different ones out there, including Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition, which we're playing here today, and I'm excited. That is me.
And my name is Michelle C. Light. The C stands for New Things. Who dis? And you can find me at Twitter at Michelle C. Light. And you can hear about all the different things I'm working on. The thing I'm plugging today, Battlelords of the 23rd Century Warmonger's Guide over on DriveThruRPG. I just got my copy today. This is a companion book to go with the Battlelords core book. It has a bunch of new tables to roll on for character creation that can determine your character's life paths. And I wrote one of them. So for those of you who are a fan of Cyberpunk, I do recommend Battlelords. It does have the same sort of character creation feeling, though it runs off of the D100 system. So huge shout out to Battlelords and Warmonger's Guide. So, to set the scene. The moon, I'd say it's about midnight Pacific Standard Time. Or time zones now. It's Pacific midnight. The moon is high up in the sky this evening, as it is a continuation of the previous game's events. Sarah, sitting in the chair, flipping through the pages, she has pulled she's pulled some books off of the bookshelves in this meeting room, perusing through them. She almost seems just like a normal kindred at this point, and not the K-Knight Camarilla Princedom that she is. She seems to be a bit more aloof, almost vulnerable right now. And that was where we left Kevin, Karolina, and Antionetta.
Where is Ron?
Probably somewhere in the estate. It's fine. Let the little neonate be. Explore on his own.
I worry about that, especially given the skeletons you have in your closet.
Think of it as a learning lesson.
I suppose. I do want to have a meeting with all of us before we get into any investigating mode, just because if we're going to be working together, it'll be more efficient if we know what each other can do. Like, you and I know each other well, Kevin, and you seem to know Ron fairly well. I just think that it will be better if we're not stepping on each other's toes later on down the track.
So I think it's, I'm happy to say that Kevin has come back in from the outside where we last left him. If he could breathe, he took a moment to take a breather outside, and he's quiet. He's got his back leaning against the wall, and he kind of just, nods and lets out a little grunt of just, and just continues ice cards down.
What time is it?
Midnight,
It's
you said?
midnight.
It's midnight.
Yes.
Well, let's get everybody situated first in their own respective rooms before we call down a meeting. Make sure everybody's well fed. Also, my prince, as I turn to Prince Sarah, I have prepared a meal that fits your preference. And a fitting room as well.
I assume it's the same one as last time? She gestures towards the hallway.
Of course.
Yes, I do suppose I will be staying here for a while, if that is of no inconvenience.
Of course not, my prince. You're always welcome in my place.
And you see that she's flipping through more pages of your books. Well then, and she flips through it and then she closes it and she's like, I do suppose I could give the four of you some information as well when the four of you are together and ready. Just sort of a starting point, almost. I was working with someone on this. Besides the four of you, they are the only ones who know of our situation with my details of my final death.
All right, I'll go see if I can wrangle up Ron and, I don't know, meet back here, I guess. Tia trundles off in search of if he can find the Nosferatu in question. God knows if he'll find him.
Do you want to make a wits awareness roll for me, please?
Oh.
Or wits investigation?
You know what? I would love to do that. Give me a hot second.
I can give you many.
Oh, great, because in this blue light it's so difficult to tell the difference between black and red, and that is completely my fault. 1, 2. Where's investigation? Ooh. 1, 2. Oh, it is. Here we go. That would be 2 successes.
You swear you could hear some sort of disturbance from, like, below you.
Does it sound like a frantic disturbance, or just some sort of noise that?
I will just say it's enough noise to pass the noise gate, but not enough wits awareness or wits investigation to figure out what exactly the noise is.
Huh. Until he'll find, I guess, this is down in the basement, isn't it? Is there Antionetta, is there a staircase that pretty readily heads down to the basement?
There is. Follow me.
And he'll follow Antionetta down.
And then, is Karolina going with you too?
You're muted.
If you are speaking, the network has stolen your voice.
I don't want to go down in there.
So
I will stay with the prince.
I will let you know what happens in just a moment, but meanwhile, Kevin and Antionetta, the two of you walk down this dark oak-laden hallway with there are different paintings and pictures from Antionetta's collection up. Some of them, as you look at them, are more morbid than you remember. Figures that were once dancing in portraits now look almost skeletal, with sunken faces and distressed eyes. As you continue making your way down, these slight changes only get more and more prominent. As you continue to make your way down, you start to hear noises like rattlings, crashings. All of a sudden, a crystalline vase just
You have company here at all there, Antionette, or anything I should know about?
I did mention that my place is quite haunted. So we do have a bit of a friendly guest around.
And he scans around at the somewhat macabre and disturbing interior design as you've been walking down, Sister. like what you've done with the place, I guess.
As you turn a second time to look at the same paintings twice, the paintings look normal.
Huh.
They look as if they are beautiful, almost floral type of paintings.
Yeah. Looks back at Antionette. Yeah, that's a good one. Huh. And
yes. Quite a lovely painting, that one.
I think as they are progressing kind of further into the space and still kind of scanning out, looking for hopefully what will be Ron, I think Kevin can't help but engage in a sort of a small talk. What, Antoinette, San Francisco, this has always been your home, has it?
Yes, ever since the gold rush in America, I've been here.
You like it here?
It's home.
Fair enough. Well, once all this is settled, I don't know, you seem to know the city as best as anyone. If you could point out some places of interest, things you might think I might be interested in, I'm in this city here, may as well get to know it, you know what I mean? But obviously after we've figured out why someone was expected to be killed and figured out why there's kindred and mages and what is it, fucking fairies and changeling now? Fuck me, there's a lot going on.
Indeed. We'll talk once this is all over.
Speak of the devil. Hey, Ron! Ron, you down here?
Your voice echoes down into the hallways of the basement. And it echoes. It echoes. And then it somehow gets louder. And then silence.
Is that normal? All right.
Quite normal, yeah?
Fucking pressing forward on, I guess. He'll bring it. What is the lighting situation like in here? Is it relatively dark, or are there kind of lights or candles that are illuminating the space?
I will leave that decision up to Antonetta.
So the lights going down the basement,
Yeah.
when some of them flickers, it's like hanging lights, but oftentimes as you pass it, it flickers, or sometimes as we're passing by another one, it just starts swinging all over the place. It just gives you the sense of unease, like you're not alone.
Hey, Antoinette, this is your casa. You want to take the lead? I've got no fucking clue where this mate's ended up, so I don't know. You need to speak to a ghost, speak to a guest, figure out where he's gone, be my guest.
Never met a ghost, have you?
Never needed a reason to.
I'll take the lead. I guess there's a scaredy cat in here.
On a scale of 1 to 4, how many of you have sensed the unseen?
Oh.
On a scale of 1 to 4, how many of you have oblivion sight? Cool. Cool. Let me just take this claw and just cool. So, as the two of you venture forth, the shadows on the wall start to almost crawl in towards you, stretching from the swinging chandelier or the lone candle as you walk by. Antoinetta, the person you see in front of you is familiar to you. You've seen this ghost before. She's a woman who is almost too tall. with thin features and long, almost spider-like limbs and dark fingertips that almost look like she dipped her fingers in a pool of ink. And she speaks to you. You've brought guests into my home.
Indeed.
You did not ask me first if you could.
I can tell him to turn around. But
And she moves at almost a speed that is too fast for you. Right at Kevin. Kevin, at this point, you could see that her features are all sunken in. Her hair is knotted into different braids of different lengths that are almost seeped with that same black, like ichor, the ink that her fingers are dipped into. And you can see her.
Huh.
She makes herself known to you.
I'd offer to shake your hand, but I'm going to assume that ain't going to cut it here. But hello, my name's Kev. What's yours?
They call me Artabelle.
Artabelle, you take a bit of an aversion to me being here, or you okay? I'm kind of looking for a friend.
You were not invited here by me.
Well, what would it take for me to be invited down to your space? If you don't mind me asking, didn't mean to trespass, but I'm here searching for a bit of a friend that's gone a bit walkabout.
So your friend was the one in the basement.
Well, unless there's anyone else around here, I'm going to assume that's a big hot yes.
Oh, my children were having fun with that one.
Is he all right?
Nobody's all right here.
Fair point. He had a kind of a big kind of look, let's not really mince words, a bit of a fucked up jaw, and may have been ranting about some person called Steve. What else?
Yes, we know of Steve. Steve brings the children things.
Things? What kind of things?
Mostly squirrels. They enjoy the squirrels.
toys for them, Kevin.
Let's see.
What has you offered me for a payment?
What do you like?
What do you have to offer me? And she almost reaches out to touch your face.
He'll have an eye on Antionette, almost like a, it's not fear, but it is confusion in the sense of, hey, Antionette, what am I meant to exactly do in this scenario? He's not outright saying it, but he's kind of like trying to keep eyes on this being, but also sneaking a glance off at Antionette,
Just
Hey.
give her something. Don't you have anything on your pocket?
He kind of like, fuck it, I guess I don't need this anymore. He pulls out his driver's license from Australia, which has his ID on it. Oh, this will go down well. Has his ID and his information. This is a little bit of me, I guess. Does that suit your tastes?
This is acceptable. And she reaches out and takes it, and she actually physically grabs it and pulls it back. You have given her a gift. That gift will be noted.
Well, that license ain't going to do me much well in San Fran anyway, so...
But... Child, you need know that names have power.
Well, hopefully you have better use for it than I do.
I will use this to my advantage in the future, Kev. You may pass through my domain now without issue.
Is this down this way where we'll find my friend?
Is that what the two of you wish to find?
That's why we're down here.
Then you shall find what you are looking for. But what you are looking for might not be what you find.
You have very ominous friends, Antionette, but...
Antionetta just ignores, gives a really sweet smile before just going down the stairs without even bothering to answer.
Kev will follow along behind.
So the two of you make your way further down into the depths of the basement of the Giovanni Manor. Karolina, how's it going? How you doing?
I'm just taking some notes on what I've noticed about the other members of my new coterie so far. Sitting at the opposite end of the table to the prince while she reads.
You can tell that the books that she's reading now do seem very old, very dated. Some of them have to deal with, some of them are like old fantasy novels almost.
Right, well, Prince Sarah, what do you know about the two neonates that you have put us with? I am good at working with people.
Yes. Oh yes, the reason why I picked those two simply was because they were unintroduced neonates.
Right.
Because two of them have gone a long way to make it into my domain, which means they've got some skills. Skills the two of you can use to your advantage.
Indeed. It seems like one of them makes a habit of running off, and I've seen
that's
it
gonna
multiple times.
that is gonna get him killed one of these days. Maybe by me. We'll figure out how things go.
Indeed. I can understand why you brought multiple supernatural creatures into the domain, but to me the dangers outweigh the possible benefits. Why?
They have always been here in the domain. Changelings, werewolves, mummies, the occasional wraith. They have always resided in San Francisco. But we don't really interact much unless we have to.
Yes.
Now, me and Max found a mutual thing that needed to get fixed.
Yes.
And so, communication between us is necessary to stave off what we believe is the end.
All right. I hear increasing whispers of the end. Again, I suppose it affects all of us in different ways, but I don't know. Fraternizing with other supernatural creatures is uncommon, I suppose. I am surprised that they even came to the party in the first place. It must mean that they too feel something is on the horizon.
And that's exactly what makes me different than other princes. Because not only am I allowing you to speak the G word in my presence, because the Camarillah's official stance on Gehenna is that it doesn't exist, or it's already happened. I am preparing our city, my city, against the horrors that are going to be coming.
Horrors.
I didn't... You are of the clan Malkavian, are you not?
Yes, you know this.
I know many things. And yet, and you hear the whispers, the sight beyond sight.
I hear them, but I can never respond.
Well, they seem to be speaking of dangers and between what's going on in other parts of the world and what's going on here. We need to do what we can to protect our home.
Yes, the wisdom of some members of my clan can be contra to often what people want to hear, but I think that kindred are increasingly aware and open that what we have to say, sometimes nonsense, but often very much not, even though I am not inclined towards premonitions and seeing the future and peering into the web. Those who do ought not to be ignored. And if they say that something is coming, then it probably is, but just not in the way that we may expect.
And simply put, that is why I'm getting prepared in a way that you won't expect.
Fair enough.
Child of Malkov, what will you do with this information once you have it?
I will... Honestly, I will do what I can to protect my own position, my own security, and the security of those I care about. Which,
You
as it
are
stands,
indeed
is not that many people, but it is subject to change, especially given the current situation.
You are an interesting kindred.
We all are.
So, I do think that once your companions have made it back, hopefully in one piece, that you might be able to be the one that keeps everything put together, keeps everyone's shit together.
Yes, well, I've sort of deduced that that will be my role in all of this. They seem a lot more eager to venture down into Giovanni basements than the rest of us, I think. If you catch my meaning.
Mm-hmm. I used to have friends like that too back in New York.
Keyword used to have friends like that, yes.
Yeah. New York was crazy. New York was fucking crazy.
Yeah, I spent some time there. Yes.
So, while we have this moment, just the two of us, do you have any questions you wish to ask me without the others around?
Well, I would like your honest opinion on Antionetta, because I have been working with her for the better part of 60 years at this point, and it's a fruitful business relationship, but there are things that I know she bends the truth, doesn't tell me the whole truth, to toy with me perhaps, or to keep her family secrets a secret, but it bothers me about her because I'm very aware that I can't help but dig for the truth of matters, whether it be of one person or of this situation. What is your opinion?
Antionetta is one of the most ruthless, determined women that I have ever met in my life. And it's an honor to know her.
She certainly does a lot for those she holds in favor.
Simply put, I agree with you. But as for giving up any family secrets, I am not in any position to betray her in any form like that. As for if she's messing with you, 100%, darling.
Yeah, she's done it before.
Oh, it is a fun game.
She seems to think so. My embrace was wrapped up in her doing that to me, but a story for another time, perhaps.
I'd love to hear it. You know, stories are very powerful things, I've learned recently.
Well, if you'd like to, I suppose, while we're here. I was working as a private investigator back in the Prohibition era, and came across her family had ties with the mafia at the time, so I dug into them a little bit too much, and my sire embraced me because they were worried that I would become another one of her skeletons, shall we say. A bit of a happy accident, perhaps.
You, out of all people, should know there is no such thing as an accident.
Yeah, perhaps not.
Karolina, I'm gonna be on, like, straight up honest with you. Sometimes I don't even fucking understand Antionetta. But that's some part of the beauty of it. She's one of the people that I can't read. Like, your companions, Ron, Kevin, sometimes you. Not a lot of the times you. It's really hard to read a Malkavian.
I suppose so.
I can understand motives. I can understand what makes people tick. But Antionetta, she's one of those people I can never tell.
Yes, I suppose it bothers me, but at the same time it's interesting and a fascinating project for me, I suppose.
I suppose you can say the same for me.
Yes. Well, in different ways perhaps, but she is a very interesting business partner, shall we say.
Very interesting partner indeed.
I'll just go back to writing what we've spoken about, shaking my head, laughing a little bit in my notes.
Speaking of laughing, guess who's not laughing right now? Ron Carrier. Hey, Ron. How you doing?
He is in substantial psychological pain, and he goes, "Ah." And if Antionetta and Kevin would hear, they would hear agony.
But they don't hear anything.
And he is just, actually, I'm going to make a compulsion and resolve roll.
I mean, you can.
Yeah, because I feel like at this moment he may frenzy.
Well, you had previously made one before, and that's where you got the messy crit from, and that's what caused this. So I'll allow you to re-roll it.
Oh, actually, that was 1, 2, 3. One with a skull. With 3 successes.
Okay. So you do manage to compose yourself in a way that you see fit.
He goes, and you hear like a bestial roar, just oh. And he's just like, does he see a door?
No, the door doesn't seem to be there at the moment.
What the fuck?
You do see 2 people make themselves present to you. They actually, they both look almost like mirror reflections of each other. And one of them just goes, I think we broke this one. I really think we broke this one. It's really a shame though. I thought he would last longer than the squirrel.
Do you find this enjoyable, children?
You just hear them both say at the same time? Yes.
Where is your mother?
Well,
Or any parent?
She can be over in the area of go fuck yourself.
Oh, so we're gonna do that now, huh?
And you see they both make themselves present to you, and they're both wearing like floor-length dresses of almost an amalgam of Victorian and Victorian, European, Renaissance-esque. Every time you look at the fabric, looks different.
Are they children or teenagers?
They're teenagers.
Okay, and I'm like, are you just bored, or are you just like messing with people?
Both.
For some reason, he just can't help. If you could see him smile, he would. But he's like, well, I like what you think. But don't do that against me again, please.
Nope.
Okay. What
You're
are your
an
names?
uninvited guest.
Well, can I be invited in?
Did you ask Mom?
Hold on. Madam? Your children are here, but since you're the lady of the house, can I speak to you forthwith?
The 2 of them just start laughing. He really thinks that's gonna work. I know, right? So, what's your name? What's your name?
I'm known by many names, but if you wish to know mine, well, we will need to know each other's names then. What is your names first, and then I will tell you mine.
We asked you first.
How about rock, paper, scissors?
Okay then. And one of them holds up their hand.
Okay.
Rock, paper, scissors, and all of a sudden a burst of air comes from them, and you just see a bunch of pairs of scissors slam up against the wall.
Oh.
Just start to embed themselves into the wall.
Do I get hit by this?
You seem to be perfectly fine.
Nice trick. Well, I lost.
Scissors, rocks, paper.
Let me tell you one of my names. I am known as Shadow Walker.
You see them both laugh to each other, and they're just like, Did AOL ask you for your screen name?
Oh, so you know technology then?
We've been around this house for a long time.
How about I make you a deal?
Oh, we like that. We like that.
Ron goes into his pocket because he carries one of his favorite anime with him, and he says, "Do you like anime?"
They both look at each other. What show is it?
Inuyasha.
Kagome. We were around when Adult Swim was a thing. Yeah, sometimes they would leave the TV on overnight and then we would watch it in the morning.
Ah, I got the very final season.
There was a final season? Yeah, there was a final season. Like, didn't you believe that thing happened with the stuff? Oh, the thing happened with the stuff.
I believe it was not shown on Adult Swim, though.
It was.
Do you still want to watch it, though?
We want something else. And one of them moves and almost floats over and just, like, runs their fingers up your sweater. I want this one. And she pulls a disc out.
That would be Fairy Tale.
It does not look like Fairy Tale to you. It just looks like a blank disc.
Can I make an wits and awareness to see what disc it is?
Go right ahead.
Okay, so 2, 3. Fuck. You know what? No. I already spent 1 point of willpower. 1 success.
It just looks like a blank disc to you.
Tell me, then, what is on this disc? And I shall give it.
Or I could just take it and say, go fuck yourself.
I had little sisters. Twin sisters.
We are much, and they both speak at the same time, much older than your sisters.
I know. But you
So
just
are you
remind me of
your sisters?
Oh, no. I also pull out another anime, and it's Fairy Tail Season 6.
We'd much rather keep this disc.
Go on ahead. I have no idea. I just randomly found it.
Perfect. We're keeping it. We're keeping it! And they both leave, and you see them walk out a door that appears with a, and then all of a sudden you hear footsteps, and it is Kevin and Twinetta walking towards you. And the two of you see these two teenage girls with a disc running out into the hallway, bumping into each other before disappearing as they would run into you two.
Yeah, well, that seems pretty normal. Ron! Hey, buddy, how you doing? How you doing there? You look a little bit worse around the wear.
They see the entire room just fucking destroyed.
And Ron, when you try to remember the moments that led to that, they're gone. You don't remember how you got into the basement, what was in the basement, or the conversation that you just had.
How the fuck did I get here?
I was just about to ask you the same question, mate.
Oh, I don't know. Last night...
You do remember Steve?
I was talking to a character named Steve.
Oh, okay. And did this Steve lead you down here? What are you up to there, mate? We've been flat out like a lizard drinking, trying to look for you.
He just pointed me down here, And wasn't there a cellar area? I
And
can't
he
remember.
lost his mind. This is why you don't randomly go off in the Giovanni mansion.
Hey, listen, mate. The four of us are figuring we should have a bit of a chat together before we go off in, whatever shenanigans are about to be ensuing in this night, the next. So if you wanna come with us, we can have a bit of a chat ski with the rest and see what's happening next. How does that sound?
I do like this place. Okay.
All right. Go on, mate.
I do need to eat something though. I'm extremely
There are
hungry.
plenty of blood bags up there if that's what you want. Or humans ready
prefer-
for
Yeah.
This is why you
Let's get-
ask the owner of the domain before you go off on your own and meet. Lose some stuff.
Okay. Well, I will follow them out, and I'll be like, as the door closes.
Before I leave, I'm going to activate the binding fetter.
Okay, the binding fetter. Ba-ba-da. That is from Cult of the Blood Gods. I'm gonna double. This is why I have a stack of books here.
Yep.
Chicago by Night, Cult of the Blood Gods, and that is page 204, I believe.
Allows me energies of the fetter, and they may identify these auras by sight, smell, and their other senses. Maybe there is a fetter around here.
So, as you activate this, you do feel the aura of the building and how it shifts and moves. And as it shifts and moves around you, you hear the voices of those two girls laughing about their most recent, the recent memory that they've obtained. You hear footsteps of a father walking throughout the building. You hear the almost skeletal spider-like woman that you had seen earlier as her nails just trail along the wall as she moves. And in this basement, you see something. And it glows. And it's just a small shape.
I go towards it and
you look, and it's on the floor, and it's underneath like some dust. You actually have to like get down and move the dust. And as you shift it, you find a single piece of glass. And you can tell this is a part of something bigger. Something that binds the spirits to this house. And you have found but the first piece of it.
interesting. I'm gonna pull out a cloth from my pocket, grab it, fold it up nicely, and then turn towards the two if they haven't left already.
Yeah, we'd still be here if you've gone off into a space to randomly pick something up.
Ron is just fascinated by this. What secrets does it hold, I wonder?
It's just mess. I'm just picking up trash around here. Let's go.
Well, if you're done being a garbage person, let's head on up to where Karolina is.
Of course, a garbage would recognize a garbage person as I pass by and lead them back upstairs.
She really doesn't handle insults very well, does she? And he follows on past her.
He just says, dude, Of course, she's a rich woman. She doesn't take jokes all that easy.
I guess the three of us head on back up to meet Karolina and Sarah.
At this point, Sarah has amassed a pile of books, 2 piles of books, a pile that she's already read and a pile that she's currently reading. While she simply starts jotting down notes and ideas and is enjoying this bit of reprieve from being a responsible kindred in any way, shape, or form. And Karolina is sitting across from her, writing down notes. Occasionally they both laugh, as if they both shared a mutual joke.
Was something funny?
I don't know, was it, Karolina?
Not at all.
Nope, not at all. Nothing funny here.
How was your trip?
Well,
No, I just popped in.
they are now very acquainted with the Giovanni family.
The family. I see.
Whatever. I popped in some random basement. It was utterly destroyed. I don't remember why. And 2 teenage ghost girls.
You do not remember them.
I don't?
Nope.
Oh, I thought it was just like I popped into the. Okay.
Nope, you do not remember the conversation you had with them.
And then Kevin and Antionetta came, and other than that, nah.
Probably for the best. But yes, Sipt, we should talk before we...
Oh, and I made a guard named Steve, who I now both... I like him, and yet I despise him at the same time.
Yes, I think I heard
which-
that.
Which Steve is this? The one with the grenade or the one with the taser?
The one with the grenade.
Oh, okay. I like him.
It's quite funny at times.
But you're absolutely right. If we're about to go out and meet what was it, a Fae as you called it, and get this whole thing started, it's best we're all on the same page about how we act going forward.
Yes. The first thing you need to know about Changelings and Fae is that they feed on chaos and names and disorder. So, going off by yourself to do whatever it is you did in this situation, it's probably not a good
don't.
idea. Don't.
Okay.
And Kevin,
Well,
the
I have
way
no-
you gave away your identity to a ghost, don't do that to a Fae.
Well, thankfully I've only got the one license, so you won't be seeing that happen again. Don't you worry.
Right, so who here is good at fighting physically if we enter a scrap? Nosferatu makes sense.
You know, not sure how it's going to stack up against those in the Fae world, but generally speaking, that was pretty much my life when I was alive. So handling myself is kind of part and parcel of what I do. But as to, people in this world, just have to fuck around and find out.
Difficult bruja?
Ron just directly gets ready, goes to Kevin and say, fist bump, man. Fist bump it.
Oh, fuck. And he'll fist bump it back. Case in point,
Language.
it was language.
The prince just goes, language. Watch your fucking mouth.
Ah, so you understand Australian as well. Good-o.
Well, it is good that we have 2 fighters. I can use a gun fairly well, but apart from that, I'm not that way inclined. So that is good. We will if we find ourselves in such a situation, I certainly can help, but it is good to know that we have two people who can handle themselves now. Antonietta is good at talking to people, as you could probably surmise, if she wants to be. But yes, I will let her speak for herself, of course. In what situation do you thrive?
Who do you point this question to?
You.
Oh,
Is your name Antionette?
funny. Funny boy. But yes, I do thrive in social situations. So dealing with getting information from social events, or just generally trying to get information out of people is my forte. That, and I can do little things like summon my little spies to do some groundwork for me.
Yes. Well, I'm good at reading the room and dealing with people in a very different way. Getting information out of them, probably not by choice. But if it comes to that, I will do it. Like I said, I'm okay at fighting, but it is good to know that we have people who can defend themselves, me who is good at assessing situations, and Antonietta who is good at talking. I just don't want to step on each other's toes when push comes to shove, so they say, just because if we're dealing with other supernatural creatures, there is very little room for error, because they make us look like the bottom of the food chain, which we are, really.
Well, it's like any old thing, right? Between professional and personal. We don't have to share a drink together, as it were, but as long as we can stand side by side and work effectively, that's all that really matters, right?
For now, yes. We'll see how we go.
All we're going by is for now.
Now, with my dealings with the Changelings, the Fae, there are basically 3 rules you've got to follow. Number 1, don't give them your name. They've been calling me Prince for as long as I've been working with them. It works. Number 2, don't make deals. Avoid the promise word. And number 3, laws of hospitality. If you want to get anywhere, just follow the laws of hospitality. Essentially, dust your shoes off before you go in. Don't disrespect their place, their people, themselves.
That's good to know.
Max runs a pretty tight ship over at their place, so just be careful. Also, things, to be frank, will try to fuck with you while you're there. You gotta be prepared for anything.
And this particular person that you're sending us to, you've had dealings with them before, or is there anything we should know about them in particular?
Oh, they are, they have a trick they like to pull that I am not allowed to tell you about.
Well, that's handy.
I know. Remember rule 2, no promises.
Fair enough.
So basically, whatever we say is binding to them.
Exactly. They will not tell you any lies, but they are not entitled to tell you the truth. But they cannot outright lie.
Lie by omission, as it were.
They step around the truth, then.
Who doesn't in our society?
Oh, I'm learning.
Oh, I forgot, you're like 2.
I'm only 6 months old.
You're not doing yourself any favors.
Well, it sounds like as long as we pull our heads in and do our jobs and don't forget those tenants as you've provided them, we should relatively get out unscathed, or at least that's the plan, right? It's what we have to do to be able to head forth in this investigation, so it sounds like we don't really have any other choice.
We don't.
Antionetta, I've sent you some directions to your phone. It's from a different number than usual, as usual. So you're going to be wanting to go over to the near woods. You'll know you're there when you see the big-ass trees.
Okay. But before we go, I need to eat.
You always need to eat.
Children.
Yes,
Anyway,
a growing boy.
Oh,
Is someone...
that does bring me a very good question. Which one of the three of you is taking accountability for this one?
I guess if someone has to, consider it me.
Then by the tradition of accountability, Kevin, anything Ron does, any punishment he receives shall also be reflected upon you.
Sounds like fun.
Very well then. So I trust the four of you to be able to do your investigating thing of who tried to murder me. I don't really enjoy the concept of being murdered. Oh, and she looks at the book pile and then she meticulously takes one out from the middle of the stack. You might need this. And it's just a book of fairy tales.
I'm gonna go into my, since the prince is a reader, I'm gonna grab a first volume manga, and I'm like, my prince, do you enjoy good comedy?
What is
I have been
that?
standing by your presence for the past 2 hours and 37 minutes. I can laugh.
Okay, I hand her the manga, and it's the first volume of Food Wars.
I believe that is what the kids, Ron, is what the kids call these days a weeb. I'm not too sure. I'll have to ask Steve about it.
I don't know what that
It is the term nerd. A weeb is someone who simps over a individual.
What language are you speaking, child?
If my prince permits, I'll catch you up on the lingo later.
We need to leave.
Let's go.
She's gonna put it at the bottom of her to read pile.
It's fine.
And Antionetta, one more thing before you leave.
Yes, my prince?
Get back safe.
Of course, my prince. Always. And Piñata's like hurriedly going out of the room.
I'm directly gonna go and look for someone who is asleep in the house.
I would say that there's some staff who sleep during the night, so they keep watch over the place during the day.
I'm at least taking 2 dots and going down to 1.
Yep, and you are able to do so with relative ease for Antionetta's estate. And you are given directions on your phone to the Mere Woods in San Francisco. This is a real ancient redwood forest that you can actually go visit. It's part of their state parks. And the trees there are massive. You could fit a lot in a tree.
Got a whole party in there.
Now, do the 4 of you have any additional prep work that you would like to do?
Do we want to bring our ghouls?
I'm gonna look for a melee weapon with it if Antionetta has an armory.
I have it in my...
It would be a haven merit.
Yeah.
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 No, I
And
only
if you
have...
don't
the
have it- I could see like there being like a decorative weapon that doesn't do anything besides look cool. You get no merit or benefit from it. It just looks cool.
It just looks cool. Like one of those
Using
like
it as a
double
mantelpiece.
blades. Over the-
Is it usable at all?
You can use it, but you do not gain any sort of benefits or merits. It deals a basic amount of damage. It is what is considered an improvised weapon.
Mm.
It is not considered an impact weapon or a melee weapon. It is just an improvised weapon.
I go and look for Steve.
Oh gosh.
And you see at this point that you're learning that the guards have like this rotation that they do to go around the building there with their walkie-talkies. And it's at this point you notice that all the guards look eerily similar. They have like the same standard haircut, same standard fit on all their uniforms. That's why they've got like, oh, that's Grenade Steve, right? Because they need to have some other identifier besides like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah. Can you walkie-talkie Steve? I'm gonna ask if he has a weapon, a spare weapon I can use.
So you hear him just go, here, let's go. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden you just hear back, are you sure I can't kill him over the walkie-talkie? And then Antionetta, your phone does go off with, we have a Nosferatu here asking about a spare weapon. Steve really wants to stake him.
Might be fun. Let Steve have fun, and maybe Ron can get some experience on the way.
So, Ron, you do not hear anything over the walkie-talkie. It is just, he's just like, hang on a second, I'll go get Steve for you, and he walks away.
Okay.
It is silence. The rust.
I'm gonna make a wits awareness roll.
I haven't asked you to yet.
Oh my god. God damn it. Damn it. Don't do this to me.
The situation is completely normal.
The rustling of the leaves. I'm gonna narrate this nice and calmly. The rustling of the leaves in the night. The moonlight above, because it's precisely above. It's midnight. It is what they call high moon. And if you could feel a chill, you would. But you are undead. You are a kindred.
Yep.
There are the lights of flashlights as they mean to tell you. Because at this point, I would like you to make a wits awareness.
Okay, thank you.
It's better if I ask you for a roll.
I'm willpowering that. Hold on, did I get the right amount of dice? Hold on. Yeah, I kind of screwed up on that. I forgot one. Okay, that's way better. 4.
Okay, and I will roll Steve's stats. Now, I'm gonna let Antionetta tell me just a simple yes or no. Just yes or no.
Just yes or no?
Yeah, just tell me yes or no.
Wait, just tell you yes or no?
Just tell me a yes or no.
I'd say yes.
Okay then.
Oh my.
Considering one of my watchmen is a gifted mortal, this is gonna be funny.
It's a lot of dice.
Did I get it or did I fail?
There's nothing wrong. Just nothing's wrong.
Oh,
Nothing's
Jesus.
wrong.
Fucking Christ.
Nothing's wrong. Just
Okay,
nothing.
I just go. Fuck.
The flashlights start turning off one at a time.
What the fuck?
Nothing's wrong. The rustling of the leaves starts to get louder. Nothing's wrong. Then you start to hear a faint whistle. Nothing's wrong.
God damn it.
And that is it. There's just nothing wrong. The lights are off. The whistling stops. There's nothing wrong.
God damn it.
I think we need to go and find Ron now. This is getting ridiculous. We need to go.
You see Antionetta just holding like a cup of blood while looking outside the window and giggling.
Let's...
Oh,
You
now I've
start to
got
hear-
a view of Ron right here. Come here and
You
watch
start to
Karolina.
hear. You start to hear like rustlings in the grass.
Can I make another roll, please?
I would let you roll. I'll let you roll. Wits composure.
Oh, okay. So my wits is 3, my composure is 2. So take 1 out. Okay.
I don't get any pleasure from this.
Oh, Karolina, you need to lighten up a bit.
God fucking damn it! 1.
There's nothing wrong.
I'm going
And
to go...
Oh, what are you doing, Karolina?
I would like to go outside and make my way over to where he is.
Okay. And Ron, there's nothing wrong. And then suddenly you start to hear footsteps. Someone is moving towards you. You can't tell who. It's dark now.
Okay, I'm getting Yancy, and I'm gonna make a fucking rouse check for potence.
Okay.
And I get hungry. I'm at 2.
You get hungrier as even your beast is like, "What the fuck is going on, man?"
I don't know. And I'm saying this out loud. I don't know. I don't
And-
know.
The footsteps keep moving towards you. The whistling picks up again. The rustling in the grass keeps
Okay,
going.
do I see anything near me, like a boulder or something?
I'll say there's a good rock. There's a rock there.
Okay, I grab it, and I'm gonna use two. Is it this either strength or dexterity? Because I'm gonna. Okay, so I'm gonna throw this. Okay, so what would this be? Brawl.
I would
So
say strength and brawl. I don't think you're trying to like stab someone with it.
Yeah. No. Okay. So. Oh yeah. 2 to this. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4.
Karolina, I need you to make a dex and athletics roll for me, please, to dodge the boulder that is being thrown at you.
You're muted.
3 dice. 0 successes.
And all of a sudden, the lights turn on. The skittering was like these little, like everything was just moving through the grass. Then all of a sudden, all the flashlights turn on all at once, and Ron, you see the fact that you've thrown a boulder. Karolina is walking towards you, and Karolina's not able to get out of the way in time as it just impacts. It sends her back like a little bit, like as it falls to her feet.
Oh shit!
You see Steve sitting up in a tree there with a little, like, video camera. The red light and the whistling from the camera. And he's like, oh man, that was so good!
You! I'm gonna get you back, man!
Ron, go back inside, and I will compel him to go back inside.
So yes, that is a dominate ability.
Yes.
And
Can I
compel,
roll
I believe
against
it's
it?
single word. Yeah, it's a
I'll
single
just say
action, not single
leave.
word. But it's charisma and dominate versus intelligence and resolve, and
Oh god, that is a good pool.
That is a critical success. I got 6.
Oh fuck, I only got 3, so he goes, and he just leaves. But as he does, he says, "You, Steve."
fuck you too. And he then gives a thumbs up to Antionetta from the tree, and is like, sorry about the collateral damage, Karolina.
Get down from the tree, you pathetic man. I'll go back inside too.
And he does so. As the four of you reconvene, Karolina, you took I'd say you took some like staggering damage from that. That's not a real thing. I'm just saying that, but it's not enough that you wouldn't be up and running by the time you guys got to where you guys are heading.
Okay. Is there any points of superficial damage I've taken from this?
No, I will just say it's what I'm going to call dumb damage.
Okay.
And that could have done damage to you if it was bad, but it's not as bad as you think. That is my new damage system.
I'm gonna try and summon a spirit while everybody's like trying to reconvene. At least the one that the Giovanni family has gifted
and
to me.
you do summon that same woman from before, the one that took Kevin's ID. And she is like, what is it that you require from me?
We are going on a trip. Would you like to accompany us?
And what do you or your group offer as payment?
What indeed? How about chaos?
So how many meaty mortals are you feeding me today?
How does 3 sound like to you?
3 mortals sounds delightful.
3
I
mortals?
cannot wait to indulge in them all. And then she looks at Kevin, and her eyes turn this bleakish color, and she just simply says, and you, Kevin, of the driver's license?
Yeah.
You will make a fine addition to my collection.
He doesn't respond to that. He doesn't know what it means. So he kind of nods and goes, I'll have to act as if I know what the hell that means, but sounds pleasant, I guess.
Oh, it is pleasant.
I'm gonna lean to Karolina and then just mutter to her, looks like the family is gonna get another member.
They're always wanting to expand. That is a pattern I have noticed.
So, storyteller Michelle time. Kevin, at
Yes.
some point something will happen to you.
Great.
Cool beans. It is not anything that will drastically harm your character in any way, shape, or form. But it will provide you an interesting roleplay opportunity and open the gateway drug to a horrible idea.
All I can say to that is, fuck yeah. That's the sort of stuff that's the best about vampire, and I'm all for it. Bring it.
So, where we last left off, our coterie was off on their way to the Myrwoods, the ancient redwood forest located in San Francisco as part of their national park system. 100% go support your national parks. That's just Michelle for a second. And being given directions by the prince, Antionetta has enlisted the assistance of Arbo, one of the ghosts that lives in the Giovanni Manor, the spirit of a much older woman. Carolina and Antionetta have requested their ghouls to go and assist them as well with this task of heading off into the woods. If you follow the directions given to you by the prince, the four of you will arrive in this parking lot area where it is gravel all the way up to a walkway. It's about, I'd say it's about 1 o'clock now in the evening. But you cannot see the moon up in the sky. The trees are massive and tall as they go to touch and reach up towards the sky. It is just a sight to be seen. Is the best way for me to describe it.
As we are arriving there, I think Kevin does have questions, and he says, look, I'm not going to act as if I've been doing this for years, because truth be told, I absolutely haven't. Has any of you ever had an encounter with the Fae before, or is this a new experience for everyone? Because I'm running blind on this one, I'll be honest.
I've successfully avoided them up until this point.
I've heard stories. None
So
of them
pretty
are
much-
good.
So pretty much what we've been told is that be on the lookout.
I've only heard in fairy tales, man, and that's about it.
So be on the lookout, and otherwise, you know this area better than I do, so I'm
Just follow
happy
the
for you to
two
take the lead.
rules. Don't say your name out loud, or other people's name out loud. Just pick a nickname for everybody else while we're there.
Okay, here's mine, Shadow Walker.
I am not going to call you Shadow Walker. I'll call you Pup.
It works.
God damn it.
Well, I guess the rest of it we figure it out when we're in there, right?
Yes, that's fine, I suppose. Eli, probably don't come too far into the forest. Just stay on the lookouts outside the area in case we are being watched or followed.
Do you want me to keep the engine running?
Yes, please do that. I know that we are wanted by a lot of kindred in the Camarilla, so I don't want to be too reckless about things. Keep the engine running, yes.
Marco, please
Understood.
assist him.
Absolutely,
from-
Miss Juve.
Sorry, I was just going to ask. Sorry, I apologize. From San Francisco standpoint, in this time of year, what time does the sun come up roughly? Because I don't know America very well.
If Michelle had to guess, around this month of the year, which is a month of the year that you're obviously in, I didn't think that I'd have to make a calendar for this game, but I might have to now.
Sorry.
Yeah, I'd
Just
say the sun comes up.
6.
I was about to say like 5:30 actually, depending on
Okay.
the summertime.
Okay, so we got a bit of time, but we obviously don't want to go too far into it. Cool. Apologies. Thank you.
No problem. Now I have to be. I know I have to be more conscious when I like start giving time. So it's like, what time is it now? Sometimes you just be like, time's relative. Throw it out the window.
I mean, we are going into Fae Realm, so...
We'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
It's very
What we
true.
think is 20 minutes might be 4 hours. Who knows?
Or
Hey,
10
Kevin,
years.
I got a. Oh god,
Yeah,
Kevin,
mate.
I have a good nickname for you. How about Goose?
Is that from a book or what is that?
Pop in the goose.
It's a,
It's as good as any. Fine. Call me Goose.
So,
You're
do the
muted.
four of you have any additional prep work you want to do before you end up taking off into the woods?
I don't think so. We have a quick getaway if we need it. We know not to use our real names, and we know not to try anything too reckless. I think that's as much as we can know at the moment.
That's it. Eyes and ears open, right? We were told that they might try something or they will try something, and we just got to adapt as be.
I will activate heightened senses before we walk too far in.
I will deactivate potence, and when we get out of the car, I'm going to activate obfuscate, unseen passage,
Okay,
And-
roll it.
and I don't get hungry.
So, as the four of you start to make your way into the wood, it is much more calm and serene than it was over in the grounds of the Giovanni Manor. As the crinkling of the earth beneath your feet and the serene sounds of nature around you, it is idyllic almost. It's peaceful, it's calm. It's just a nice walk in the woods in what would be a moonlit evening. Occasionally you come across some wooden bridges that you have to climb over to get over some natural terrain, some little crevices, but the trail doesn't ever seem to lead off a single path until you reach a fork in the road. And the paths look identical. One to the left and one to the right.
Look, I don't really
You're muted,
fancy us.
Karolina.
I didn't say anything.
No.
I don't really
And that
fancy
was-
us splitting up, so to speak. So I'd vote we pick a path and go with it. And does anyone have a lucky direction?
Yes, I think that's
You
the best idea.
you guys see Ron just disappear, and he says, "I do not want to be seen by these fuckers, so I'm going to just stay invisible, but I will follow you."
They will probably be able to see you regardless, Ron. Unfortunately. They have very strong abilities, of which we don't know much about. But yes, I agree with Kevin. I think we should definitely not split up.
Let's
I mean,
take
look,
the way
what's-
path.
I mean, I don't know. the right path? Go down the right path? I don't fucking know. Does it really matter?
That seems symbolic enough for them to.
I will follow Goose's lead and choose right. But we haven't gotten your nicknames yet.
I'm Anne.
Moonshine. It'll do.
Moonshine.
What? It's symbolic.
Very symbolic.
Okay, so we got Moonshine and Anastasia.
Let's go to the right then.
Yes.
And as you continue to move towards the right, your footsteps echoing around you. It's almost at this point like the sounds of nature stop. The birds that were chirping are no longer chirping. Movement near you has stopped.
This is eerie.
And Karolina, with your heightened senses, you start to see specks of light in front of you.
There is something here. You can see light far off. I suppose we are entering their realm.
The boundary itself.
Almost subconsciously, I don't think he's fully aware of what he's capable of doing as of yet, but Kevin will activate rapid reflexes. He's got a heightened kind of awareness in terms of he's looking to react at a sudden moment if anything changes. I think it almost manifests in just him attempting to be more alert and more perceptive.
And your body does do that as if it's a reflex, as if it's a basic instinct of your kindred self that you yourself might not even be aware of.
Yeah.
And the lights can start to continue to form in front of you, Karolina, almost falling from the sky in a sense of green.
You're muted?
They're getting closer. Let's keep going. Just be on guard. Are the trees getting bigger, as the prince said?
The trees are already massive.
Okay.
They are naturally extremely huge, even if you were a human during the day.
To those of us that don't have heightened sights, does anything look any different, or for the three of us, does it just look fairly normal?
For the three of you, it looks fairly normal. You're not quite sure what Karolina's following, but Karolina's following something.
Great. Take your lead.
Perfect. I will follow where the lights seem to be coming from, further into the forest.
And eventually, as the four of you continue to make your way to it, you see that the lights are actually coming from a tree. And there is a hole in that tree, in the base of it.
Oh. I guess this is it.
Oh. This? Tree?
Yes.
As in, what, we fucking go inside there, or?
I assume so.
It's
Can
Alice
I
in
make
Wonderland.
can I make an occult roll?
I would give you wits and occult if anyone wants to make that roll.
I'd roll it.
Why not?
And Karolina, add 1 die.
I rolled that's a 5 because it's a crit.
Choose successes.
I got
Was your crit a messy crit or regular crit?
It's a regular crit.
I don't know if that looks cocked or not. 2 successes.
Okay. For anyone who rolled 2 successes or lower, you are like aware that a normal like trope in stories is the lights that lead the way.
Yeah, that makes sense to Kevin.
Karolina, the lights do seem to be calling you for some reason. And Antionetta,
Hear them.
with your crit, I will give you this piece of information. There have often been rumors that the only kindred that changelings like to talk to are actually Malkavians.
I guess it's very fortunate that we have you, Moonshine. As the changelings love to talk to your clan, to your family.
When you say that, I feel as though they are willing me forward. Me specifically.
Such
Right.
secrets.
Well, hopefully that means you go.
Secrets. Oh, yes. I am now intrigued.
Me too. Just remember to respect
I know
their
the-
hospitality.
Oh, I know the guidelines.
Well, let's hope the rest of us are just as welcome then, if welcome's the word we're using.
I'll lead the way. Inside. I feel rather foolish or odd, perhaps, but I like knock on the side of the trunk.
So, there is no like door or anything. It is just a hollowed out trunk.
Yes.
You knock on it. There is no response.
Hopefully this does not breach their notions of hospitality, but I will step inside underneath the large.
Whoa. Before you do, remember, shoes off at the door, hospitality rules of, we're entering a space here. Their castle, not our castle, so maybe,
You're right. Shoes off literally? I will.
I think so. I mean, we're flying by arbitrary rules here, but it seems right, doesn't it?
I take off my
suppose.
shoes.
So dirty, but I will do the same.
Kevin takes off his boots, just kind of puts them neatly beside the trunk.
Do we really have to go barefooted?
I suppose I don't like it much either, but if it makes us more welcome, then I will do it. I just want to know where they're leading me.
Well, I'm going to remove my high heels and put it nicely and neatly alongside everybody else's.
Perfect. We will.
And can I get a marching order for how the 4 of you wish to enter?
I will be leading.
I'll follow. Second.
Ron, are you still obfuscated at this point, or are you visible now?
Oh no, I'm so obfuscated.
All right. Well, then I think Kevin would intuitively, he would try and he's like, do you mind
I
going in front of me, mate?
I directly pat him on the back and I say, "No, I will, Goose. Remember, use our nicknames."
Yeah. All right. Pup.
Top. Yep.
He'll yeah. If he feels your hand on his shoulder, he'll go in third and allow you to pull up the rear.
So as the 4 of you enter, there is a wooden table in the middle of this area. And it's like a hollowed out tree trunk that is massively tall as the lights are falling gently from the ceiling of this. And on this table there are 4 glass bottles. And a simple note on the table that says, "Drink me."
Oh, this is Alice in Wonderland. I love it. quite entertaining.
Are we going to shrink if we drink?
I mean, does he'll peer into the, what does the liquid look like itself?
It looks crystal clear.
Huh. Well, we've gotten this far, right? He'll hand a glass over to Karolina if she takes it.
Certainly. I feel like this will either do something strange or I'll just regurgitate it straight away.
Hand off to where he believes Ron to be.
You already see that glass already gone before you pick it up.
All right, well, in for a penny, in for a pound.
I'm going to go over
Antonietta's
to a
just
corner.
watching.
So, if you're drinking and you know it, raise your hand. So, I'm gonna do this one at a time, and I'm gonna start with Ron. Ron?
Yep.
What is the best thing that Ron has ever tasted when he was mortal?
The best thing he's ever tasted when he was mortal was a small hamburger stand from his home from Nipissing University in North Bay, Ontario. He basically had mushrooms, it had Swiss, and it had scallops in it.
And as you drink the clear liquid, you start to taste the charredness of that burger and the saltiness of the scallops, the intensity of the mushroom, and the acidity of the Swiss cheese. And also the sensation of even like the drink, the soda pop you would have with it as well. And it is as if you were drinking the best meal you have ever had in either existences. And your hunger for the rest of this scene is reduced to 0.
Oh, they would hear me moan in satisfaction, going, "Oh."
Just his voice from nowhere.
Karolina, what was the happiest moment of your life?
It's when I left Poland for the first time and came to America, leaving my family behind. For the first 2 or 3 months I was sad and lonely by myself, but afterwards I received a letter from my mother after I had gotten a job and sent some of the money I'd earned back home, and she included a photograph of the new house she had bought. She was living well, and after everything I had done, everything I had sacrificed, in that moment I realized that it had all been for a purpose, and ever since then I vowed to work as hard as I could to help those that I loved, for this purpose, for this sense of satisfaction and happiness, joy that I felt in the moment, knowing that the work I had done had helped somebody dear to me.
So, when you consume this drink, it has many layers. First, it has the sensation of anticipation, that feeling you got when you were first boarding the plane to leave, the nervousness, the feeling, the rush as the airplane takes off from the runway, then all of a sudden shifts to the feelings of nervousness, and you've still got that anticipation, the nervousness, the anticipation, the what awaits you on the other side. There is something waiting for you on the other side, and that feeling that comes rushing at you, the feelings of hard work, determination, and just the ability to persevere beyond when you believe in yourself, and you feel that determination, and you feel that pride, you feel that happiness. It is as if you are consuming all of those sensations at once inside of yourself, for the rest of the scene, you have a +1 die to any of your mental attributes.
Oh, okay.
So your intelligence is up by 1, your wits is up by 1, and your resolve is up by 1.
Wonderful.
And it is just a rush of emotions that led to the happiest moment. Kevin.
Oh,
Yes.
What is Kevin's hardest struggle?
Huh. Kevin's hardest struggle is accepting the fact that vampirism or becoming a kindred is a permanent thing. Kevin has a fervent belief, one that he has never expressed before to anyone, that this curse, and he does see it as a curse, he does see it as something that is inflicted upon you, can be reversed. He is searched for a long time for the last couple of months, and every time it has been whispered or talked about, the answer seems to be the same. It is a forever thing. It is constant. It is eternal, and he refuses to believe that. So he struggles with this this innate understanding that it cannot be reversed, but he struggles to hold on to that faith that it can, and that he can resume a normal life.
And when you consume this drink, it tastes like something you've never experienced before, but the lack of a better phrase is liquid sunshine. It tastes like hope and faith. And the faith that you've been holding on to, that something can happen to make this better, that you don't have to be a monster, even if you feel like one. And you start to feel the hope. And you feel as if like the sun is shining on you physically, even though it is not there. And for the rest of this scene, you can treat your humanity as if it is humanity 8. It makes blush of life significantly easier for you, and you feel more human.
And you feel sexual pleasure too.
And you can do the do if you find someone who wants to.
it's true. That's really good.
Fucking Kevin time, baby. All right, humanity 8. Jesus, right. Well, Kevin's going to enjoy this. Yeah, I think Kevin just like, for a brief solitary moment, he feels alone, but not in a negative sense. He just like feels, it's like that moment when you first wake up in the morning and you draw across the blinds and you feel that morning sun beat upon you. You've got a coffee in hand and it's just like, right, no one is in this room except for myself, and I can take a breath and the day can begin. It's that feeling.
Wake in the morning and I step outside.
Hey, Antionette, you should get some of this.
Yes.
Remember nicknames.
Oh,
This is why. You haven't heard of the stories where you shouldn't drink or eat anything from the Fae realm, or else you might get stuck here forever.
he's still feeling the effects of it. He just says, I mean, honestly, how bad can it be?
If they're working with the prince, I'm sure it'll be fine.
He'll hold up the glass to her. It's like, look, it's completely up to you, but as far as I'm concerned, isn't this part and parcel of the hospitality that the prince was talking about embracing?
Certainly is.
You all seems drugged to me.
I mean, will they be offended if you don't?
Probably.
Antonietta's gonna grab the bottle with. Can I wits occult this? Can I recognize what this is?
You can 100% wits occult this if you want.
Because I don't trust this thing at all. Got a 3.
So, the works of changeling magic are sort of the polar opposite of necromancy. So I don't know if it would be in your realm of knowledge, but you are very knowledgeable in lores and legends and fairy tales. And this type of beverage seems to be one that can only be consumed by the supernatural. If a human were to drink this, they would perish.
So this thing, as I'm just swirling it around, is very deadly to humans, to mortals, but have adverse effects to supernatural. Quite interesting.
Adverse. Hardly.
Do you
I
trust
agree.
this Do you trust this moonshine?
Yes. I don't think, given what we know about the fact that these people are working with ours, that they would try and sabotage us too extremely. Maybe they will test us, and maybe we have failed this test, maybe we have passed it. I don't know, but I do know, and I do trust, that they don't wish us any significant ill, given the situation.
Here goes nothing then. And then I just take it in one shot.
Antionetta, what is your biggest regret?
My biggest regret is being part of this family, of the Giovanni family. I wasn't originally part of it. I was adopted into it because I had potential.
And as you consume this, it tastes like sand almost to you. And it's not like the sands of the beach. It tastes like something otherworldly. Something you cannot place your finger on. And as the thoughts of your regret fill, you realize that this taste must have some link to that regret. Some link to the Giovanni. It is almost as if this is giving you a warning of some sort. So, for the rest of your scene, all of your occult rolls have a bonus in regards to Oblivion and other legendary lores.
Tastes like sand. All said it tastes good, it tastes like sand to me. I'm putting down the bottle.
I think it's very unique to the person who drinks it. Perhaps your fondest memory is one of consuming sand.
Hardly.
Well,
I just feel satisfied.
I think Kevin's doing the thing where he's talking and moving his lips, but there's no sound coming out.
Technology is lost on Sean quite often. Can Kevin, you do a rouse check to enable Blush of Life to make himself
need to
appear?
roll arouse.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Kevin he feels the pinkness back in his skin. He just looks at his hand and admires a Kevin that he once knew. and he can't help but have a slight smirk on his face. And he just like gets that sense memory back of what it's like to be alive, even if he's not, and he just indulges in that.
Well, enough of that. Let's move on.
We need to do this and work hard and find out the information we need so we can do this thing for the prince. Imagine what we will get if we manage to pull this off. She will hold us in quite high standing.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Right. Yeah. Let's go. Okay.
Certainly.
And as the four of you turn, you see that the scenery around you has changed. The woods are lit with many different lights leading the ways. All four of you can see this now that you've consumed this drink.
Holy shit, man.
Yes.
Am I fucking tripping or what?
Now, mate, we're all seeing the same thing, I reckon.
Yeah.
Beautiful, ain't it?
Oh dear God.
I don't know whether to be amazed or terrified, but it's truly something to behold.
I am
And
just
you-
cautious.
And the lights start to form a pathway for you. As they swirl in the air, settling to light the ways. You almost see people dancing between the trees and moving back and forth. And the sound of nature and life just
Cautiously follow the path, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I put my hand upon Kevin's back so he knows that I'm there.
I will remain in front and follow the lights.
I am just going to follow, looking very disinterested.
Conversely, Kevin is more than interested. This is a fucking phenomenal place, and holy shit, America has things that Australia doesn't, apparently.
Who would have thought?
and colored lights start to fall gently from the sky, like shooting, almost like, I would say like shooting stars, but it's much more majestic, like rain, but not as like consistent as rain. It's like as these lights are welcoming the four of you in further and further into the forest until eventually there is a clearing.
Oh,
Is there anything in this clearing, or is it just a big open space in the forest?
Eventually, as if anyone steps forward,
yes.
of light and color appear, and in front of you is this majestic wood carved throne that seems to touch towards the sky, and there is different people. Some of them have like almost like gills and fins, and they're drinking glasses of water. Some of them have like beautiful features beyond description and compare. Others, you swear that one of them has a tongue that's really long and forks in two at the end, and they're just eating away at different like things that are in their vicinity. And sitting on the throne is a person of indiscriminate gender with very androgynous looking features, wearing a dress that spikes out at the shoulders, has a low cut that reaches their navel and a skirt that flows out.
Antionetta will step up forward and then take a deep curtsy.
No bow also.
So
The
Kevin
kin-
will very awkwardly. Yeah.
The kindred are here to announce our presence, Your Majesty. I'm just gonna kind of glance back and like try to see if Ron did anything.
Hey, Ron, I think it might be all right to
nicknames?
show yourself. Oh, I just, by the way, as a Sean thing, Sean is probably going to say actual names because that's what's in my brain. But unless you want to have it as a roleplay thing, I would say he would use another names. It's just
It's okay. I will take a note of this.
Hey, Pop, I
plus,
reckon it might be safe to you know.
I will never in-game penalize you for an out-of-game thing unless your name is Steve.
Of course.
Hey, Pop, I reckon it might be all right to come out to play. What do you say, mate?
I unobfuscate and bow.
Welcome, those touched by the blight of banality. I am High Regent Max of this motley of Changeling Society.
We were sent to you by our kindred prince. Perhaps you know of this arranged meeting already.
Precognition is not one of my traits. However, this meeting was preordained by your Prince Sarah.
She wishes to know who it was that made an attempt on her life.
Indeed, and have the four of you brought what I've requested from Prince Sarah?
Sorry, I've had very little sleep over the past couple of days. Can you remind us what exactly it was that we were meant to bring?
You forgot it?
That's the noise that Kevin's going to make for several seconds unless someone...
She did not mention anything to us, did she?
We were told to bring ourselves, Your Majesty. So unless we are the thing that you wanted.
And our hospitality, of course.
This is a storyteller question. Did any of you bring the book that the prince gave you?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I have it.
Antonietta has it, right? Yeah.
Antonietta's the one who took it, yeah.
Yeah, so the regent stands up, their form almost growing taller with them as they stand up and step down from their throne. Go, my dears. Don't be, as the children say, holding back on me now. And their hand reaches towards Antionetta and touches the book that is there. That is what I wrote.
A book.
Books hold knowledge and information and power. Antonietta, the prince did give us this
No names.
for the purpose of presenting it, I think.
Yes, Regent Max, was it? This, if this is the book you seek, then by all means, it's yours to peruse as you will. All right.
I cannot take it until it has been freely offered by the person who possesses it.
Ah,
So, miss, one who is steeped so deep in banality, may I have the book?
Of course, you may, Your Majesty. It is, of course, a gift.
Thank you. And they take the book and they flip through it a little bit. So the four of you are the ones who have been sent here to help me.
We are the chosen ones by the prince, sent to help you, yes.
Now then. And their figure moves towards Karolina. Child of Malcal.
Yes.
It does not seem so long ago that Malcal himself once stood where you stood.
Is that so?
Yes.
Well, I am not even a fraction of the wisdom that he held and bestowed upon all of his children, but I hope that I can assist as I may.
Malcal put a sense of wisdom towards the coming days. The four of you might not have noticed it in your banality, but dreams are dying. The world is becoming less bright, less colorful.
We fear the same. By the night it becomes darker and darker still.
So the banality is being felt amongst you as well. And then she walks towards Ron. Child,
Yes.
one who has not yet fully understood their nature. I do believe that there is a reason for you to exist. For you still believe in the arts, and she points towards your pocket.
I grab what I have in my pocket.
It's the DVD of Inuyasha and Fairy Tale. You still partake of the arts, I see.
I believe in the art of storytelling, yes. For it keeps me grounded to who I once was.
Yes. We changelings are bound by the same thing, but because dreams are dying, less and less people are believing in the parts of themselves that can create such beautiful storytelling. And they gesture towards the anime. But the world is slowly dying.
There is always creativity in all.
So, I do hope that you keep believing, child.
I will always believe.
And last... And they, pronouns, they swiftly move towards Kevin. And they simply say, were not chosen for this, were you?
Chosen in what sense, if I may ask?
You did not choose this willingly.
Yeah, you could say that. Didn't come into this unlife willingly, let's put it that way.
Greatness is not something we choose, but chooses us instead.
Fate and destiny, if that's what you want to call it.
A good story. And I will be fascinated to see how the four of yours ends. I believe the princess sent you to me, so you can assist me with the matter in exchange for the information that the prince needs. You four who are steeped in banality enough so that it cannot affect you anymore. In fact, there would be more of us here to see you this evening had it not be for the sheer fact that your presence makes some of us not well.
Are we a sickness?
You are many things. But the banality that has come upon our city is not one we can overlook anymore.
Then what would you have us do to help you?
You have felt it, have you not? The change in the air. Something terrible is coming for all of us.
I see things, I hear whispers of things that come over the horizon, more and more each night.
Four of you will be very crucial to what happens to all of us in the end. Greatness does not something we choose, but greatness is something that defines us.
You say that you talk about the end and what's happening in the end. What's coming? Where does all this lead?
The winter that shall never end. The coldness. All creativity lost to the world. You, creatures of banality, have another term for it. You refer to it as Gehenna.
Kevin, Ron, have you heard of this?
You mean the apocalypse? Ragnarok.
I've heard of it. I've heard of the word. I never bothered to look in it. Isn't that just all lore and fairy tales and spinning? If that's how the Camarilla seem to always reflect it.
It's something that is happening now.
Not when all our elders are being called, beckoned.
To the east. And our clan hear things from voices that have not been heard for thousands and thousands of years. Suddenly they reappear and warn us that our time is ending. There are more and more signs of old things coming back. each night, each day, things that we cannot hope to stop. Well, maybe we can. I don't know.
I mean, if that's all true, if even a slither of that has any sort of authenticity, then what are we doing here? Like, I mean, if there's an inevitability, if there's an ending point, well, we just marching ourselves towards the final death, or are you saying? And he looks over at Max. Are you saying that there's some way out of this?
You, out of the four of you, should understand what hope is.
All right then. Let's say there is. Let's say that there's some different path, something that's outside of what's written. You know, I've seen a lot of shit in the last year, so I'm willing to accept anything.
Your Majesty, what task
then?
do you want us to do?
The drink that the four of you have consumed will give you insight, but only for a brief period. The four of you should return back to the crime scene. And from there you can understand the mysteries of what I am trying to unravel. The four of you have seen the fog that has overtaken the city.
Yes.
Something or someone is responsible for it. It is not a natural event. It is not one that was predetermined, destined to be your story. This sight beyond sight is temporary. For those who are attuned to the opposites of glamour, I believe you call it oblivion. You'll be able to communicate better with things that are best left secret. For those who are tuned more towards their senses, you'll find that your senses can peer beyond senses. And for those whose talents lie in the more... Oh, what is the word that the younger generation uses? Muggle? Muggle. I like that word. The more muggle things, the technologies, and find gateways opened that you would not have seen before.
You're right, my mind feels clearer than it has in a long time.
This book is sufficient payment for the gifts I have bestowed upon the four of you.
You are very generous indeed, Your Majesty.
I do have a request of the four of you.
Of course.
A simple one, but one I would hope the four of you would consider nonetheless. Because your society has its roots in the human world, just invest more money into the arts.
That I can do indeed, Your Majesty.
And I do hope that the prince is doing well.
She is.
They are.
That is a relief. I was not sure if this plan of theirs would work to draw out the source of the banality.
It seems we are on the right path for now, at least.
We were unable to tell the four of you of this plan beforehand, and we are unable to tell you what the future is. Merely because knowing so would put the four of you in grave danger.
Knowing the future seems like, to me at least, a wasted effort when there are so many choices that we have the power to make here and now.
Future is always changing.
I do hope the four of you can write a good ending for your stories. I would be more than enchanted to read all of them.
Who
Well,
says
that's kind of
this
the thing,
is... No, you go first.
Well, that's kind of the thing, right? You can talk about fate and destiny all you want, but how about we write our own ending and then we can see how much fate plays a part in that?
I agree.
To me, fate is but an illusion. We choose who we wish to be. And no matter what path we choose, there are multiple endings to multiple roads. And whatever end will come, we must accept it gladly.
And you'll see that Max's form starts to almost get smaller, almost to like a normal human size from their grandiose stature. But I believe the four of you are on the right path. As we always know, the right path is always right.
Hear that, Kevin?
I shall give upon one of you, and they look around, and they look at the four of you, and then they stop at Kevin. And they hold out in their hand a plain coin.
I think Kevin, he won't look at the coin. He'll look at Max's eyes, and he'll put his hand out beside Max's to receive the item is in their hand.
And they hand it over gently. They go, "It's a coin."
And he'll look at it for a moment, and you'll have to forgive me. What exactly is this?
A means to contact.
We'll only use it if necessary, then.
I'm sure that if you need to contact me, that coin will come in useful. Just throw it into any clear water.
And he takes it, he pockets it into his shirt pocket. It sits kind of nestled against his chest holster, where his piece is kind of resting against the coin so he can feel it at all times. Just consider it done, Your Majesty.
Now then, when the four of you go to depart these woods, you will find yourself in the place that you need to be. It does not matter which direction you take, which path you walk, you will always end up in that one spot. You will no longer get lost as long as you bear that coin in my woods. You'll always end up exactly where you are supposed to be. This is the last of my gifts freely given. Anything additional will have a cost.
Thank you very much for your generosity, Your Majesty. Then, if that would be all, we would take our leave.
Leave your people to feel better upon our departure.
I give another courtesy.
It was a pleasure, Your Majesty. And he bows. I know that every time I think of this place, it shall be in the manga and in the anime I watch and read.
Farewell, children of banality and child of Malka. May
Good
your
night.
stories end gloriously. And then you see as they move their hand as the lights start to coalesce upon all of you in a rainbow color swarm surrounding you. And when the lights go, you are in a clearing in the middle of the woods. And the sounds of revelry can be heard around you. Cheers and merriment and fun.
Oh, that's dandy. Is our shoes where they once were?
Huh?
Is our shoes where they are?
Your shoes. When you go back to that tree, you find your shoes. And inside your shoes are little golden wrapped spheres.
Ron directly goes down and apparently another gift.
Okay. These are the nicest supernatural beings I've ever met.
I directly put them in my pocket.
For now.
For now. But it went a lot better than I expected. Put my shoes back on quickly. My feet are so dirty.
Yeah, same with mine.
Antionetta's gonna produce another cloth from her pocket and use it to wrap the thing, just so she doesn't touch it directly. I don't feel comfortable about any of this. Dealing with another supernatural being, receiving gifts for no reason. As I'm putting back my heels.
There's
you are.
always a price.
Well, no time like the present, right? You talked about things that we're good at and things that we can do. Karolina, similar to myself, you said you were a private investigator. So
Yes.
the next place we're heading is the place that it occurred. This is where we can put our skills to use. So honestly, if that's where we need to head next, we should go there right fucking now.
Exactly. I agree.
What time is it though?
And as the four of you depart, you'll notice that the gifts that the feeling and sensations of when you drank the bottle, they're still with you past this point, when they should have worn off previously.
My head feels so clear.
Still tastes like sand.
I am still satisfied. Oh God, I have not felt not hungry in months.
Hey, Antionetta, do you want to give your driver the directions back to the place? I think we should be heading there. And figure out what the time is would be pretty pertinent too. But it still looks to be night outside, so.
Yeah. I want to investigate before this clarity wears off.
Alright. Marco, back to the Elysium.
So, you'll notice that your cars have like a faint dusting of wood debris on them. Your drivers are still in the vehicle and one of them's asleep. The other one's on his phone.
I directly go and knock on the door, and I'll be like, "Hello there," like Obi-Wan Kenobi says from Star Wars.
Oh, you guys are back. I'm surprised.
How long were we gone?
It's been 2 nights.
I'm sorry. You wanna repeat that there for a second?
Fae Regent.
2 nights. We couldn't keep the car running. We went and got some McDonald's. Do you want some?
Let me say
Question
this.
is that, Eli?
Yes. Yes, Kevin does.
Somebody had to a black. It's got a Happy Meal in it.
Yeah.
I directly go up to him and I slap him.
No, because
Ron, don't slap my goal, please.
Kevin.
I'm sorry, but
Kevin feels as though he can, because I know I've done the blush of life and I'm feeling humanity. He's gonna take a bite of that burger and see if it stays down.
You want to roll a composure resolve for me for a hot second?
Absolutely.
Ron, please
tempt
don't
me.
slap my
Don't-
goal, please.
Puke
Okay,
in the
I'm
car,
sorry,
Kevin.
Karolina, let me just say this. Your ghoul is tempting me, and I don't want to puke blood all over him. That's why.
3.
Yeah.
So this composure resolve was to prevent you from breaking down at the fact that you can eat this burger. Emotionally breaking down.
Right.
He takes it. He like looks at everyone. He's like, this 1 second. Fucking hell! Oh fucking hell! I'd offer you something, but I think it's gonna turn out a little bit differently. But you know what? McDonald's is going to be. Does that count as given to the arts? If I give money to McDonald's more, does that count as giving money to the arts? Because I'll do it.
The McDonald's is not the arts.
I think that's...
Well,
It's fast food, dude.
well, they're getting my money for the rest of the day anyway. Let's head off and
Let's go through a drive-thru or something. Let's go, Marco.
What's your favorite food, Kevin?
This burger right here.
Fair enough.
There's also a toy in there too.
You want the toy as well?
Fucking why not? Give it here. I'll take everything at this point.
And so
Yoden.
our coterie takes off, having spent 2 nights in the realm of the Fae Regent. Been given gifts that are unique to each of them. Ron can no longer get hungrier for the time being, no matter how much he rouses.
Yes.
Karolina will always have the confidence in their own abilities and have a bonus to them. Kevin feels more human, and McDonald's is the best. We're not sponsored, but
Sponsor us!
Kevin is more in touch with his humanity. And Antionetta has been given an omen of the future. One that allows them to perceive more into the supernatural of what is going on. Each of them has been given a specific gift from the Fae Regent. One that will most likely come in handy for their plans. Gifts that have been freely given and require no repayment. For the book stolen from Antionetta's collection by the prince proved to be sufficient payment. And as the 4 of them take off, ghouls in tow. One of them got like a little bit of like a busted lip almost now because of the slap. Taking off towards the crime scene, back to where it began. And the fog continues to roll in from the ocean. Something is coming. Something is coming to change San Francisco, for better or for worse. The changelings have called it the end this winter. The kinds, the humans, just see it as a sign of global warming. But it is not natural in nature. The kindred call it Gehenna, for those who choose to believe. But is this the end of the world? Or something far more sinister? We'll find out more next week on City of the Saint. Thank you all so much for joining us here this time zone for another game of Vampire the Masquerade. This changeling concept is a bit homebrewed based off of my knowledge of Changeling the Dreaming, which I play regularly as part of Deep Magic. But it's also a bit of my own interpretation of the lore. So if you want to know more about this, I might release some information about a little bit about this homebrew later. But my name is Michelle C. Light. The C stands for I can't believe it's not vampire. And I've been your storyteller for this evening. Thank you all so much for having me, and I'm going to let the rest of the coterie introduce themselves right now.
Yeah, so I have been Sean, who played the Bruja Kevin Morse. I now have a unhealthy hankering for McDonald's, which may happen post this stream. We'll see how I go. If you would like to follow me otherwise, if you can go on Twitter, @SeanMeansJohn, is where you can find me personally. Otherwise, @BabyBeardMedia, where you can check out Roll to Cast as well, our tabletop role-playing game podcast, where we're currently doing a season of Kids on Bikes. But we do have a plethora of other games that we played in seasons past, and that has been myself. Thank you so much.
Hi, I am Reese, the Northern Shaman. You can find me at Reese the Northern Shaman on Twitch. You can find me at Reese the Northern Shaman on Instagram. And you can find me at our Northern Shaman on Twitter. And this weekend, we're going to continue our walkthrough of Mass Effect Legendary Collection on Mass Effect 2, where apparently I'm going to try to romance Miranda. And I pass it over.
Nice work, friend. Yeah, I'm Beck. I've been playing Karolina, the Malkavian of the coterie. And yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Zeitpoltergeist, where I talk about stuff. You can find me on Twitch at Zeit_Poltergeist, where I talk about stuff and play games. We also have a Vampire V5 5th edition Dark Ages game, which I run each Monday morning, Australian Eastern Time at 10 a.m. So catch me there if you're interested.
Michelle, did you call out your projects?
Huh?
Did you decide your projects already?
I just said my Twitter because I pimped my projects out at the beginning.
Oh,
but,
yeah.
I do play. Fun fact: if you want to see me play as a changeling, Archives of the Dragon, Deep Magic seasons 1 through 3 are available on YouTube, and that's me playing Iris Real.
Changeling sounds so fun. Anyway, again, I am Rina playing as Antionetta Giovanni, the very ruthless and mean Ancilla. You can find me over at Twitter and all the other social media as the Overlord. That said, again, once again, I have another VTM Chronicle called Call of the Abyss. That's streaming every Wednesday, 7 p.m. PST. We are also calling in for more cast members. If you are interested in joining my third chronicle titled Cradle of Cain, it's a Sabbath game set in Philadelphia, just message me on Twitter. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that because I definitely did. We shall see you again next week. This has been City of the Saint. Bye!